Hello everyone, my name is Tom. As you can see, I am a little bit of a toy collector, and I figured it was about time I actually started doing something constructive with my toy collecting, because most people say toy collecting isn't constructive. So I figured I'd start doing some reviews. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Recently I went to Forbidden Planet in Bristol, which is a little bit way away from where I am. And picked up the Star Wars special action figure set, based I believe off the old vintage packaging. This one contains Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Han Solo. I've wanted these figures all for a very long time. I've got all of the versions of Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi from the films, so I was very glad to pick this up. Cost about $22.99. So let's open it up. By the way, I'm really nervous. This is my first review, so please bear with me. Before we do open it up though, let's actually take a look at the packaging. Probably would be a good place to start. This is my first review. This is my first YouTube video, aside from, I'm not going to get into it, nothing kinky. So here we go. So yes, vintage style packaging. From 70s, I guess, or the 80s, whenever this particular design was around. Very nice box, slightly bent packaging, but it was my girlfriend's fault, let's face it. I bought it for myself when I shouldn't have, so I said to her, give it to me for Christmas. I know it's not Christmas, but we gave our presents early. So yeah, that's her fault. On the packaging, we have Luke X-Wing pilot, Ben Kenobi, not Obi-Wan Kenobi, because this is presumably how he was named in the original packaging, and Han Solo. Luke has a blaster and lightsaber hilt, which is actually Darth Vader's hilt for some reason. Ben Kenobi with a lightsaber, and Han Solo with a blaster pistol. On the back, we have an image of the hero set, which is this one, the villain set, which contains Stormtrooper, Darth Vader and Death Squad Commander, and T-1B, Leia and Rebel Commander in the Rebel set. I'd like to pick up the Rebel set if I can. The villain set I already have, well, I have individually, so no need for that. So let's open her up. The packaging actually, the insert actually comes out quite nicely. All you have to do is open the side tabs here, no sellotape from what I can see, and it just pulls out. So that's very good if you do really want to keep it mint in box, but fancy a little sneak peek. The clamshell is, as you'd expect, glued down, so that's as far as you're going to get if you want mint box. I'm not really a mint box collector, but this is a nice little point to point out, just in case you are and you want to get, I don't know why you'd want to take it out of the box like this far, but you have the option. Okay, here we have the three figures out of their boxes. They seem to stand okay. I tend to use blue tack to stick them down when I have them on display, so it stops them tipping all over the place. Luke probably looks to have the most problems because his feet are slightly outwards, so his inner soles will stick to the floor, but his outer ones are sticking outwards. We'll start with Luke, since we'll go left to right, that's probably the easiest thing to do. So let's have a look. Okay, so here is Luke, based off his A New Hope appearance on the final Death Star run. Nice looking figure, nice paints, nicely scaled. Slightly smaller than most of the other Star Wars figures actually. This is a common thing between Luke, so I don't know if I never really noticed, but I guess Mark Hamill must be actually quite short. He is noticeably shorter than a lot of other figures. Nice detailing on the helmet. forgot to take off the elastic band there. I'll take that off in a sec. Now, one of the things that I did mention earlier, if I used the take where I did that, because there are a lot of takes, he does, for some reason, have Darth Vader's lightsaber hilt. This was, this actually happened in the original release of the figure when it was released in 2006 in the Saga collection, and for some reason wasn't changed. He also contains a blaster pistol. There is no place on his body to store the pistol, so if you'd like to use it, it's in his hand or in a box. Okay, here's Luke without his helmet on. It was a bit of a struggle to get his helmet off, but we got there in the end. Personally, it's not a bad sculpt of the face. Could have been better. Doesn't really look like Mark Hamill. There are quite a few other figures that look a lot better when capturing the likeness. Personally, I'm probably going to display him with the helmet on because it is very nicely, it's very well proportioned, fits on his head without looking oversized, and I think the head doesn't look too undersized either, so they got away with that quite nicely. His hair is designed for the helmet to fit on, so it's kind of splayed a little on the edges. Nice 70s hair there. Paint the hair is not bad. I think it's a fairly close match to what he looked like in 1977. The paint on the body is also very nicely done. I think it's cast in the orange plastic and then painted. Slight orange coming through on the white vest, but it is actually not noticeable unless you're deliberately criticising, which I am. Don't get me wrong, I really do like the figure. He is designed to fit inside a X-Wing. I don't have an X-Wing to hand because my girlfriend won't let me collect the vehicles because she's mean. Nice buttons on the chest, whatchamacallit, regulator, something, computer, I don't know, goes into his stomach for some reason. But yeah, quite like it. In terms of articulation, he's got the ball jointed head, fairly nice motion, can't really look down, looks up nicely, looks left, looks right, can do Exorcist if he wants to. Torso articulation, although as it seems the plug thing will fall out if you twist him too far. Let's leave that. He's got a peg hole there for his dad's lightsaber, should he feel like carrying that. Just a swivel hip motion. Then he's got a slightly tough, that's because it's round the wrong way. There we go. Got a hinge on the knee, so he can sit down if he wants to. Rotates left and right, up and down. Heel, ankle to articulation, down and up, left and right, standard. Same with the shoulders, same with the same with the elbows. The wrists have a swivel joint and does seem a little bit loose there. You can see if you give that a tug, that will probably come out. I expect it's just on a peg, so it should be fine just to put in if it does fall out. His hands are sculpted to hold the blaster in either hand. I can't think of what hand he would use. Pretty sure he's right-handed. But yeah, quite a nice figure. Probably out of the set, probably the one I wanted the least, although I did still want it because I've got him in Hoth gear and I quite fancied one in his actual Rebel X-Wing attire. Here's the X-Wing pilot helmet. Looks very nice, slightly misaligned printing on the Rebel Alliance logo, but you really can't see that from a distance. It's only because I've got it here under the camera that I can see it. Nice clean lines, and it's very good, very good. Lightsaber, I apologise for my large fingers. Lightsaber, yeah, nice painting, just shame it's the wrong lightsaber, although chances are you're probably not going to display him with that anyway. You might do, I'm not going to judge you much if you do, much. Blaster pistol, looking good, not really warped in the packaging as some items do. Nice silver paint there, kind of reflective, looks like a real metal. Looks nice, yeah. Now here he is with the blaster pistol in his hand. It's quite loose to actually fit his hand actually. I was quite surprised by that because generally Star Wars accessories generally fit quite well. One of the techniques you can do that I've done in the past with other figures when I've had a problem is to, if you put Luke's hand into, or the figure's hand into the hot water for a little bit, that will make the plastic more malleable. Take the blaster, put it into his hand and squeeze it nice and tightly around the hand. Then when that when it cools down, the plastic should harden in place and fit a lot better. One thing I have just noticed is I'm not sure what's going on here with this his arm. It looks, I think it might be, it looks like the white paint's been splattered there by accident, which is a bit of a shame. Didn't notice that when I was picking it up, though I think I remember there only being one pack of this, so, but it is not the worst thing in the world, not particularly noticeable. Also this, actually his head sculpt does look a lot better with his helmet on. I think the eyes throw it off, but the nose and the mouth actually look pretty good. So yeah, I think definitely keep the helmet on for this one. But yeah, no, I really like it. So here's a quick shot of him with some of the other Rebel pilots. We've got a couple of A-Wing pilots there, I forget the names. And then we have Biggs Darklighter and Wedge Antilles. Wedge Antilles uses the same body as the X-Wing Luke, as you can see. You can see here that he is, Luke and Wedge are thanks to the same body, noticeably shorter. I think Biggs is a fairly old figure. Not very old, and I think they were slightly larger than what you get now, but they're not noticeably out of proportion. They still look good. Looking at them, I think Luke really has got the best. I think he really wins on the helmet there out of the three X-Wing pilots. It really seems scaled correctly. Biggs and Wedge seem a little bit too big. Better articulation than Biggs as well. Biggs uses a lot of swivel joints, so you really get a good range of motion with the Luke body. Now the final part for Luke, here is him with the other Lukes in my collection. As you can see, I've just noticed actually the X-Wing pilot one is still shorter still than all the other Lukes. So I guess he had a growth spurt between New Hope and Empire. As you can see here, well I hope you can see, I'm still trying to work out the limitations with my camera. Would like to take a moment to apologise for any flickering there is. It's a real pain to try and get this. This is a real makeshift studio space here I've got. It's just a light box and a white piece of card, and it does seem to cause some flickering with the camera. As hopefully you can see, amongst them all, his probably has the least detailed representation of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. To his credit, is I think the oldest of this lot here, so I mean I presume there is no way for them to get a 3D head scan like they can with some toys now. I know the Doctor Who toys do it and get a head scan of the actual actor to get a lot more detailed, so this had to be sculpted from nothing, just using photos of Mark Hamill. So, but you can see that is a lot less detailed, but like I said, with the helmet on, it really does make up for it. Next up we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi as portrayed by Alec Guinness in A New Hope. First thing I'll say is that cloak is very oversized. it's a running problem with Star Wars figures. For some reason, it's always just cut way too big. One issue that I really think they should do, and they've done it with a few of the Sith figures, Palpatine and one of the newer Darth Maul figures, is to actually use a sculpted hood. As you can see, this hood is just ridiculous, and Obi-Wan is seen a few times with his hood on, and well, look at that, it's not good. The head sculpt is very good. I'll get a bit of a close-up in that. Let's just take this off a minute. Yeah, it also has a fabric robe on the lower scale. It's a little bit out of kind of breaks the design a little bit, but I think, well, they had range of motion in mind, which I think is better. He wouldn't have been able to sit down if he just had a sculpted robe, so I think I'm willing to forgive it. I'll probably put him with a cloak on anyway if I can find a way to tack down that hood. Just try and move close up there. It's a little bit hard to get in close because my having trouble sticking my webcam down, but hopefully you can see it's actually a pretty good portrait of Alec Guinness. I think it's got the eyes dead on. Nice. The hair is how I remember it. The robe has got a nice texturing on, nice detail on the belt there. This figure actually came from the 2008 Legacy Vintage Collection, and so it's the newest of the figures in this set. As you can see, his legs here. I mean, they even went to the trouble to texturing his trousers, which they didn't really need to do. They could have got away with not really doing anything to it. No one would have noticed, probably. His hands, he's got his Jedi mind trick hand, which is a nice inclusion. I like it when they do it with certain figures, because it breaks up the there can be a lot of sameness in some figures. His other hand designed to hold his lightsaber, looks like he's a lefty. So articulation wise, got a ball jointed head, nice range of motion. I think it looks like slight torso articulation, but I think because this robe is underneath, it restricts it. The robe goes directly into the torso there, so I think it's probably stuck like that. But then, you know, he's an older guy, he's probably not going to be doing too many swings and the like. Trousers just swivel there. Again, he's not going to be doing any acrobatics. The legs are cast in the same plastic as the upper body, and so what this means is when they've painted it doesn't really look painted. It doesn't seem like they've painted it, but the hinge there is the wrong colour. But you know, how often are you going to be? He's not going to be walking around like that, is he? So it's fine. Also, slightly different colour on his bum, which again, you know, well, you know, maybe it's screen accurate. I don't think Alec Guinness ever pulled up his robe in that film, not that I remember anyway. So you get the up and down, left and right, the usual. Same with the ankles. I apologise if I'm going off screen at all. I don't actually have the screen. It's a bit of a stretch to see the screen here. Same with the. I do know the names of these joints because I have a book on toy making, and I should have read it again before I started doing these. Would have helped. Similar joint for there, and the wrists have the usual swivel on. I'll just note quickly that the lightsaber is very nicely painted, and in this instance it actually is Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber, not like with the Luke figure. The blue is a very nice blue, nice and bright. I think matches with the rest of the Obi-Wan Kenobi figures. Very nice. Okay, here's a quick look at him with all his full get-up on. As you can see, the robe is oversized. Not actually so bad on the body. There are some figures where the bottom of the robe goes on for a very long time. I think you might have seen it earlier in the when I did the lineup with all the Lukes. The deleted scene Luke from Return of the Jedi, his robe or cape as it should have been, was very long and very impractical. The hood would have benefited from a sculpted hood, especially if you want to recreate the scene where he does his crate dragon call, which I hear is ridiculous in the Blu-ray edition. His lightsaber fits in his hand very nicely. There are some figures where they are very loose. Hand looks nice. I really like the inclusion of the mind trick hand, but a very nice looking figure. I'm very glad to get this finally to go with the rest of the set. It was released in a single release. I think was it 2008. I think that might have been the last release, the single release of this version of Obi-Wan. So it's a very welcome addition to the set. And finally for Obi-Wan, a quick look at him with the his versions in the other episodes as portrayed by Ewan McGregor. I really do apologise again about the white balance here. It's very hard to reduce the white balance without getting a horizontal flickering. If anyone knows a good way to fix that, then please let me know, because it's very irritating. I would also like to use the light box, as you see here. If I turn it on, see, now I would prefer it like that, or maybe reduce slightly, but it does create that flickering. So if anyone knows, that would be very helpful if you could let me know. Back to the actual figure. Nice lineup, nicely scaled. He looks slightly shorter than the Ewan McGregor figures, but you know, he's an older guy. I'm sure he's probably hunching a little bit. Basically, I think there's a nice transition going between the figures. I think you can believe that this is the younger and older Obi-Wan Kenobi through the years. As you can probably see from the lightsabers there, particularly the Episode 3 Obi-Wan and the New Hope one, as it is the same lightsaber, the colours of the blade do actually match very nicely. I don't know if that was actually the case with the Phantom Menace, where his blade was a little bit paler, but it still works nicely. So yeah, that's the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. Very nice addition to the collection. I'm glad to have all of them. And last but certainly not least is Han Solo, as seen from A New Hope, like the other figures. I've wanted this figure for a very, very long time in his smuggler gear. There are a few later releases and I've been put off them. I think most of them use the same body, but the head sculpt I thought almost seemed like a caricature of Harrison Ford. This one I really think gets it dead on. I don't know why they didn't continue to use that. Harrison Ford is, as other reviewers have noticed and probably customers have noticed, his likeness is very difficult to capture in sculpting when it goes across the Indiana Jones figures as well. In the 3.75 scale, 12-inch scale, all very difficult. There's always something that looks amiss, but I think this is actually a very good figure. The hair looks excellently sculpted. The body is in great proportion. Probably the best Han Solo, I think probably the ultimate Han Solo figure you're probably going to get. I mean, I really don't see the way, I don't know where toys are going to be going in the next few years, but I think this does look like pretty much the best you're going to get, unless they improve paint somehow, but I think sculpturally, excellent sculpt. The belt there does look very good. Fits on there nicely, just slightly off of the hip, but that's really not a problem. Doesn't look noticeably oversized. His hips do look slightly smaller, narrower than you'd expect. I think that's actually, if you took off the jacket, that wouldn't be the case. But with the belt there, adding the holster, I think it does save it. Articulation, he has got the ball jointed head. Sorry, I put blue tack on my hand there. Ball jointed head. Not very much motion looking down. He has got a swivel waist, a little bit stiff there, but yeah, he has got it. Swivel hips. Ball jointed knees. I think that's what ball joint is. Can't remember. No, it's not quite a ball joint, is it? Pin disc? Not sure. Ankles. Going back up the body, he's got a full range of motion in his arms, in his elbows, and in his wrists, which go up slightly higher than normal because his shirt doesn't go all the way down. Very nicely done, very nice looking hands as well, nicely sculpted. One thing I did think is, I think I prefer his, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, I think I would have preferred his other hand to be posed in a different way. They're both designed to hold a blaster pistol. I don't know if probably, maybe perhaps to work with the gun controls on the Millennium Falcon, perhaps. Probably work quite nicely. Or the actual ship controls for it itself. Very nicely done. But I think I would have preferred a different styled hand. Maybe for more when he was doing his shooting. I'll try posing in a minute. I'm not going to try it right now. Sorry, getting blue tack all over it. Oh yes, this figure is actually from 2004, which actually makes it older than the Luke figure. I mean, you could pass this off as, you could put this in the vintage collection today. Vintage collection is very detailed, very nice figures, and this would actually fit in perfectly. You would not know it could be from 2012. It's better than some figures in 2012, especially the Movie Heroes line, which is terrible. So we'll have a look at the accessories now. I'm getting more confident in doing this all in one shot now. Blaster pistol. His sight is slightly off to the right. That's probably screen accurate, I didn't realise that. It's just black plastic, so I won't zoom in, but the detail does look good. Yeah, you can pose him nicely with a blaster. Get him to shoot Greedo later. Does look very good. Probably, I think probably I've wanted this one more than the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. Surprisingly, I only have 2 Han Solos, including this one. The other one being Hoth Gear. This guy right here, and as you can see, the scale fits in nicely. Looking good. So yeah, this is probably my favourite figure of the set, just because I think it is scaled perfectly. There is nothing really I can complain about, and if I'm being critical, it's the hips. But I think something would be good is if the hips also moved left and right, but that is really being critical. This is a superb figure, my favourite of the set. He's got some detail on the belt there underneath as well. He's got 2 belts on. Expect that the blaster also fits nicely in here. It's got a slight groove in it for fitting the sight of the blaster in. It will go in, but I'm having a little trouble. But, you know, let's face it, you want Han Solo with his gun out. And one final note, Han did indeed shoot first. So there we have it, an excellent set of figures, all of them terrific, only minor problems with, oh, there goes Luke. I'll let it run. There's an example of his feet not staying in place. All of them terrific, only minor details that I can pick out that I would rather were changed, but you know, this was £22 I believe. I think excellent value for money. So yeah, very glad to have it, very glad to put it on the shelf. Thank you for bearing with me. As I said, this was my first review. I'm sure it's going to end up very long, but bear with me. If you've got any criticisms or tips, please send them to me. I really would like to continue doing this. So thank you for watching, if you watched, or didn't just turn off in the first few minutes because I was rambling. I hope I gave you all the information you might be looking for. If you haven't got a fix for the flickering screen there, so I can turn down the white balance a bit so I can get a bit more detail into these figures, that would be excellent. This was a fairly budget webcam. It's the LifeCam HD 5000 webcam by Microsoft. It's pretty good. I mean, for the money, it was good. So thank you for watching, and I think next time I will be reviewing some Hobbit figures from the new movie, of course. So thank you.